Welcome to another episode of Psyche Quest TDT. Today we're going to dive deep into one of the most transformative and often misunderstood concepts in psychology, Carl Jung's idea of individuation and the incredible power of silence and unavailability. In a world that constantly demands our attention, from endless notifications to the social pressures of always being on, it's easy to forget that one of the most powerful things we can do for ourselves is to step back, choose silence, and reclaim our energy. But why is this so important? We've been conditioned to believe that we must always be available emotionally, physically, and psychologically. But what happens when we stop? What if I told you that by choosing to be unavailable for others, we can unlock a level of peace, power, and self-realization we never thought possible? Stick around, because by the end of this episode, you'll not only understand why silence is so powerful, but how you can start applying it to your life to break free from manipulation, gain respect, and find your authentic self.
The modern world is hyper-connected.
Social media, instant messaging, and constant notifications have created an environment where we feel we need to be on at all times. We are expected to respond immediately, whether it's to a work email, a friend's text, or even a social media comment. This pressure to be constantly available is not just a societal expectation, it's embedded deeply in our psychological makeup. Carl Jung's concept of the persona is key to understanding this behavior. The persona is the mask or image we present to the outside world, crafted to gain acceptance, recognition, and approval. It's the face we show others to fit into social roles, family expectations, or professional duties. While the persona can serve a functional purpose, such as helping us navigate society, it also hides our true self, the self, which is our authentic identity, the deep, unconscious aspect of who we truly are. When we are constantly available, we strengthen our persona, often at the expense of our true selves. Our immediate reactions become a way to fulfill the expectations of others, to be seen, to be needed. But this comes at a cost, our inner peace and energy. Every time we react to someone's demand, we reinforce the idea that we must always be there, and in doing so, we slowly lose ourselves. Being available all the time creates a cycle of emotional depletion. Consider how you feel when you've responded to multiple requests in one day, when you've been on 4 hours without a break. You feel exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally. This is because every emotional reaction we have, every time we give in to the demands of others, we expend a part of our psychic energy. This constant availability often leads to burnout. As Jung pointed out, emotional exhaustion doesn't just affect the body, it affects the psyche, the very core of our being. When we're always responding, always reacting, we're in a constant state of psychological tension, and eventually it becomes too much. But if we step back and reflect, we can see how much of our availability has been an illusion of control, of connection, and most importantly, of purpose. Jung's idea of psychic energy. Psychic energy, according to Carl Jung, is a finite resource. Every thought, emotion, and action consumes part of this energy. The way we allocate this energy shapes our psyche and our experience of the world. If we direct our energy towards constant emotional reactions, we become depleted and vulnerable. Psychic energy can be wasted on trivial concerns, unnecessary arguments, or endless demands that drain us without any real return. The emotional manipulation dynamic. When we're too available, we become predictable. Others know how we'll react. They know what buttons to push, and they can manipulate us by triggering emotional responses. These manipulations might not be malicious on the surface. Sometimes they come from a place of dependency or learned behavior. But manipulation is manipulation, whether it's overt or subtle. Take, for example, a person who constantly relies on you for validation or emotional support. They may reach out when they are feeling low, but the moment they are okay, they disappear. Over time, we begin to expect that we will always be the one who gives, and in doing so, we create an unhealthy emotional dependency. This is a form of emotional manipulation. People who depend on your availability and emotional responses are essentially using you as an emotional outlet, and this can be incredibly draining. When you're always available, it feels like you're being there for others, but in reality, you're being used, and your own needs are pushed aside. Psychic energy waste and emotional drainage. Every emotional reaction that you give, whether it's defending yourself against criticism, reacting to provocations, or pleasing others to avoid conflict, depletes your psychic energy. Imagine it as if you're giving away small pieces of your soul every time you react automatically. These actions don't feed your soul, they simply leave you empty. And the more you engage in these cycles, the more your energy is drained. Psychic energy is like a battery. If you're constantly giving away power without replenishing it, you will eventually run out. This depletion can affect your mental health, your relationships, and your general well-being. It's like running on empty and expecting to perform at full capacity. The power of silence and withdrawal. Jung's individuation process. Individuation is the process of becoming one's true self, which is both a deeply personal and spiritual journey. It involves integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of the psyche, transcending the persona, and reconnecting with the authentic self. But individuation doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It requires space, quiet, and reflection. Silence is one of the most powerful tools for individuation. When we withdraw, when we choose not to respond immediately, we're allowing ourselves the space to reflect on our true feelings, motivations, and desires. It's in the silence that we begin to understand who we are beyond the roles we've been assigned by society, by family, and even by ourselves. The strength found in silence. Choosing silence is an act of power. It's not the silence of cowardice, nor is it the silence of avoidance. It's the silence that comes from awareness. Jung saw silence as a tool for self-realization because, in silence, we listen to our inner voices. We reflect on our emotions, and we gain clarity about the motivations behind our reactions. This level of self-awareness is crucial for individuation because, as Jung said, we cannot become our true selves unless we first acknowledge and integrate all parts of our psyche, the light and the shadow. When we step back and withdraw from external demands, we can begin to question our impulses, our emotional reactions, and the societal pressures that have shaped us. We can start to discern what is truly important to us, as opposed to what others want us to be. Silence as protection. One of the most profound ways silence protects us is by allowing us to guard our energy. When we choose silence, we are refusing to engage in emotional drama that drains us. We are choosing not to react to people's demands or manipulations. And by doing so, we break free from the emotional treadmill that keeps us running in circles without ever truly getting anywhere. Jung emphasized that true power lies not in reacting, but in choosing when to act. Silence, then, is a powerful tool for those who want to reclaim their autonomy. It's not about being unkind or distant. It's about choosing to protect your own energy so that you can be fully present for yourself and, eventually, for others when you choose to engage. The shadow and projection. Projection and emotional availability. Projection is a key Jungian concept that involves placing our unconscious fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts onto others. This happens all the time, especially when we're emotionally available. People will project their insecurities, expectations, and even their fantasies onto us. And as long as we're available to react, we're caught in the cycle of these projections. When we stop reacting, we create a space where these projections can no longer stick. We cease to be the emotional punching bag or the ideal person others project their fantasies onto. This is incredibly liberating because it allows us to step into our own authenticity, free from the roles others have placed upon us. The power of non-reaction. One of the most significant aspects of non-reaction is how it forces others to confront their own inner conflicts. When we stop playing along with their emotional projections, they are faced with themselves, something many people are not ready to confront. Non-reaction can be uncomfortable for both parties, but it's essential for breaking free from unhealthy dynamics. As Jung pointed out, we must become conscious of the parts of ourselves that we project onto others. By choosing silence and withdrawal, we make it clear that we will no longer play the role others expect of us. This is not only a path toward self-liberation, but also toward healthier, more authentic relationships. The transformation of the self. The journey of individuation. Individuation requires us to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves, to accept the parts of our psyche we've repressed. This often involves periods of solitude, moments when we retreat from the external world to reflect on our internal world. Silence is not merely the absence of noise, it's the space where we confront our shadows and learn to integrate all aspects of ourselves. When we embrace silence, we move from a reactive state to an active one. We begin to create our own reality instead of being shaped by external forces. Individuation is a transformative journey, and silence is one of the most powerful tools in this process. Reconnecting with our true self. In our noisy, busy world, it's easy to forget who we truly are. We can get lost in the roles others assign to us, whether it's as a caretaker, a provider, or a problem solver. But by choosing silence and becoming unavailable, we give ourselves the space to reconnect with our deepest desires, values, and purpose. This process of reconnecting is not always easy. It can feel lonely or uncomfortable, but it is essential for true personal growth. It is only when we stop reacting and start listening to our inner voice that we can truly understand who we are and what we want. The courage to be misunderstood. The uncomfortable truth. Choosing to be unavailable, to protect your energy, often means you will be misunderstood. People who have relied on your emotional availability might accuse you of being selfish or distant. They might feel rejected or hurt by your boundaries. But the truth is, this discomfort is a sign that you are growing. Jung understood that individuation requires us to separate ourselves from the collective, from the roles and expectations that others place upon us. The more we grow into our true selves, the more others may resist this change because they want us to remain the same. But this resistance is not a sign that we are wrong. It's a sign that we are on the right path. We are learning to say no, to assert our boundaries, and to prioritize our own well-being. This is not selfishness, it's self-care, and it's necessary for personal transformation. The rebirth through silence. The power of rebirth. In the end, silence and unavailability are tools for rebirth. By choosing to step away from the emotional chaos, we step into a new version of ourselves, one that is more connected, more authentic, and more aligned with our true desires. This is the journey of individuation, becoming whole, becoming real. And as we do this, we find that the world around us shifts. We attract healthier relationships, more fulfilling experiences, and greater inner peace. Silence is not a void, it's the fertile ground from which our true selves emerge. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to reflect on your own life. Where are you overly available? Where do you give away your energy without receiving anything in return? And most importantly, where can you start reclaiming your silence and your energy? Like this video, subscribe to Psyche Quest TDT, and share your thoughts in the comments. How have you experienced the power of silence? Let's continue the conversation.